30 miles.
Yeah. Keep in mind, like with COVID, man, like I think the biking industry has increased even more.
Oh, crazy.
Everybody has
exactly. Bikes
crazy.
right now, yo. Like
it's like China.
Men, women, everybody. You can't even get bikes today.
Yeah.
And you can get bikes if you want to pay the price, the high end.
Exactly.
But the entry level bikes, you can't buy.
Welcome to the Daily Detox Podcast. I'm your man Deon J, and today I have Lifestyle Cycling Club. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Good. So how'd you guys get started, man? I mean, Fred, you can talk first, man. How'd you get started?
Man, I've been cycling since 2010. It was just something extra to do in the city. While I was out in the Bible, I used to see all these white guys riding. I'm like, damn, I never seen anybody black riding. So I started doing research on bikes and just research on the whole culture of riding, cycling. And I bought a bike off Win and just started riding in 2010 by myself.
Nice. So how'd you guys come together as a group and start riding together?
I'll speak on that. I'm Brian. Oh, sorry. I met Fred through another passion that we have, and that's photography. And one day we were just chopping it up, and I was like, y'all want to go ride and this and that. He was like, yo, I got a bike. Let's get it. So we met up. Where we first go? Like Haynes Point or somewhere. We met up. So we would just ride through the city, you know, just cruising, and every now and then we challenge each other. Then we just took it to another level. That he hollered at his boys and on, and then it grew to what you see right now as a positive black man thing moving on. And we're just trying to grow this group.
And
and female, sorry.
Yeah. And I seen Marcus hit me up on Instagram. Was like, yo, I'm trying to ride. Then Josh hit me up, yo, I'm trying to ride. Then Brandon hit me up, yo, I'm trying to ride. I'm like, yo, just ride. You know.
That's nice, man. So where do you guys ride at? Where's the most common places?
Where don't we ride at?
So we be in the streets. We prefer to stay away from the trail work. Prefer to ride like open road. We go to Southern Maryland a lot. I'm in the sticks in Virginia, so I do ride out there at Dolo sometimes. We have rode around the city, but it's too many damn lights and too much traffic, especially now that people not caring to stay home because of COVID. And but we looking to do some other things, like go to New York. We were talking about catch a train up there and ride from Manhattan to the Hamptons.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah. Good century work or something like that, you know.
So what's the most miles y'all rode your bikes for so far?
I've done 106, 108.
I topped out at about 70 on mine.
75. That's it.
70 on mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does someone get started with riding the bike? Like, how do you get started? What's the budget? What's the bike you choose?
Okay, so let me jump in. I mean, I've been riding for about probably like 3 months. So my transition into cycling was, I was actually doing a lot of indoor spinning. So indoor cycling, I was doing that for about 3 years. COVID hit, so then I was looking for alternatives, and I was like, okay, I'm trying to get outside because the stationary bike just got boring. So, different price points. You could start entry level, mid level, jump in a pool a little higher. You got to do your research, do your homework, do your research. You can look at videos on YouTube, search the internet, but a lot of information that I got is you definitely don't want to start entry level. You want to get a bike that you can actually grow with, because a lot of people jump in entry level because the price point is attractive. You're going to outgrow that bike in about a month. So, I jumped in a price point around $2,500, just practice, man. Get out on the bike, meet up with people. There's a lot of resources. I know, what is it?
GCN, Global Cycling Network.
Global Cycling Network's got a lot of tutorials about gear shifting, riding, brakes, disc brakes, rim brakes. There's a lot of information out there.
Here we go.
Let me just jump in for 1 second. I want to go back to this brother's comment about not buying an entry-level bike. Your first bike, if you're going to a Walmart
or Dick's or Target, you're really wasting your time. Unless you just want to do some casual riding around the block with your kids or something, that's fine. But if you really want to get into the hobby and the sport, you may not have to spend $2,500. You can always go in the used market, but you have to come with a realistic expectation. Like I started out when I was riding, I started out with BMX as a kid, you know, and then I got my first 10-speed, and then 10-speed kind of phased out, and then I got a mountain bike, and I mountain bike all the way. I use my mountain bike as my basic daily commuter all the way through college, and then kind of got away from cycling for a while, got into some other hobbies and motorcycling and some other things, and I got back into cycling a couple of years ago, and I still had the expectation of a bike should cost this much, and the technology had changed, and the prices had changed, and I said, okay, I need to reset where my expectations should be. If you want to buy a good used bike, I really think the $800 price point is where you want to be, because that's a bike you can still grow into. Anything below that, you're kind of probably going to grow out of that bike, or you're going after it, like you said, because of the price. And it's going to be a lot of junk. I'm not going to say junk components. They'll fit for whatever you want to do, so long as it's kind of local. But you're not going to figure out, why am I not getting more fit? Why am I having problems shifting? Why is this bike so hard to pedal? Why is it so hard up hills? Stay away from that. Set a price point. I'm thinking about $800 for a used bike. $2,500 will get you really into the premier classes of new bikes, and then the sky's the limit from there. You can get some really crazy prices if you want to.
Any brands you want to mention?
Nah, please don't.
No brands?
So let me start by mentioning one of the best brands on the market, and that's called BMC, Black Man Cycle.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks to my brother Marcus.
Caveat, yes.
That put me on.
Come on, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I have to give you credit where credit's due. BMC is a great bike, man.
It is. BMC is a great bike. You saw that speed going on.
What about that?
You got Shimano.
Okay.
Well,
Shimano actually make a bike. No, they actually have a bike for
yes. You're right.
entry level people who try and just get into it. You know, Shimano do have a bike for the entry level.
I never even knew that.
Yeah, they do.
But with all that being said, when you look at frames, it's almost like sodas or sparkling water. You got Pepsi, Coke, RC, Mountain Dew, whatever. But when you look at the basics of the bike, you have Shimano, Campy, Dores, you know, you have
your
those
gear trains.
Yeah,
right.
Those gears and components basically.
Right.
Is you can have a steel frame going against a carbon fiber bike, but if you got those nice components and you got the right person on that bike, they can hang.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
So it's I would suggest that people don't get caught up so much as in that carbon fiber that you spent $6,000 on with a $300 group set.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's what they're going to sell you.
Well, what about safety, man? And like, what kind of safety measures do you guys take?
Get the belts, helmet out there.
Wear a helmet at all times.
Wear a helmet. You got safety measures as far as with the lighting and alerts from Garmin. And just research. Usually, before we do a route, we like to research the route, see if anybody else has done it, see what the traffic's like, things like that. And pretty much ride in a group to stay away from if areas that do have traffic. You ride in a group. It's a safety measure because of you being with the group as opposed to being by yourself on the road. Because there have been a couple occasions this summer where a cyclist was hit by a car. So we kind of stay away from that. Stay on back roads, country roads, and stuff like that.
Yeah, you also want to kind of like, if you're riding by yourself, you want to like ride early, right?
Absolutely.
And have like the proper lighting for your bike, whether it be a headlight. You always want to turn on all your sensors and everything to make sure that you can avoid these cars. Because if you go at like 9 o'clock in the morning, I mean, the probability of something happening is much greater than going at 6 o'clock in the morning. So take that into consideration.
Have you ever been stopped by the police?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
But no.
Lord willing.
Yeah.
Are you guys worried about it?
No.
At all?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if anything, when we're riding in groups, people are always honking horns and seeing black men and women out riding in big groups is amazing.
Yes.
Going through Southern Maryland or throughout the DMV area, man, it's just a great experience, man. I would encourage everybody, if you can, to join a group or do a group ride or something like that, because learning how to ride in pace lines and drafting, all those things are really cool, and it makes you much more faster than like my brother Marcus.
Oh yeah.
Well, it just makes you a better rider.
I was going to actually say something because you're not fast.
I just wanted to jump in real quick too. I mean, one of the things is I think it's going to be really important is just figuring out your goals,
That
right?
too.
Like if you want to casually ride, there's a lot of different options. If you're more race focused, if you want to do a lot of hill climbing, bikes are basically geared towards what you're trying to get out of them. I mean, the bike that I have is actually an alloy bike with a lot of different carbon components on it, which set my price point a lot lower than actually a full carbon bike. But again, that was what I was looking for. I was interested in criterium racing, and that's the other thing. If you're interested in racing, there's different types of racing. There's all kind of, so you got to do your homework and figure out what your goal is, and then match that up with your bike, and then also your group set.
It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. So invest in your lifestyle. It's actually a lifestyle.
What's the most you spent?
Really?
Let's go around.
Let's go from high to low right
Yeah. What's
Probably with biking gear.
we know Fred's a baller.
I'm talking to my boys the other day. Probably with biking gear, I'm like 21, 22.
Thousand.
1,000 or hundreds?
No,
We're talking about
thousands.
thousands.
Thousands. Oh my God.
Yep. Between
no
bike
sponsors.
and kids.
No sponsors.
I'm going to have
Wow.
a sponsor soon.
That's what I said. That's what I
promise
said.
you
You need to do
The
some quick
sky's
racing.
the limit. The sky's the limit.
So you reselling the bikes, or how's it work? Once,
Said my wrist.
or your
resell
equipment?
bikes.
You don't resell them?
I
It's
think
a lifestyle.
Yeah,
You ride
So
these
you
things
keep
like
them
a
all?
car.
Oh yeah, I'm keeping this
keep-
bike.
you
I'm not
keep-
even
you
getting rid of this
keep-
bike.
Well,
you keep bikes.
Hands down.
what a lot of people do is they ride bikes for a couple of seasons until they're ready to upgrade to something else, or they grow out of that bike, then they sell it. And typically, if they're selling the bike and they still want to ride, they're upgrading to something even more expensive
Yeah.
and using the profit to put into their next bike. I will, like for me, I know how expensive bikes can get, but I'm not willing to go there just yet. So I will buy the expensive bike from 3 years ago, just like a car, like you buy a used car, a pre-owned car. I'll buy the expensive bike that was really expensive 3 years ago, and then get it at a less expensive price, but still a great bike.
I just trade up, yo. Like
Mhm.
so I started in March with a $800 bike,
Okay.
and literally from March to like June, like I'm at a
Still slow.
hey listen, I got a hot ass
Right.
BMC, and my bike costs like $6,500. You know what I'm saying? And it's a great bike. It's got everything on it. I don't need to do anything to upgrade it or anything like that. Like at the end of the day, to your point, it's all about buying what you want. And sometimes when you get into the sport, you don't really know what you want.
Right.
So that's why I started at $800, thinking like, yo, I'm gonna keep up with my boys, and I was slow as shit. You know what I'm saying? And then,
And then he was like, he bought the BMC. He was like, he gonna keep it with his boys. Walked into it.
So how do y'all stay on the same pace? I mean, how about some?
each other,
We
man.
don't.
It's different fitness
Yeah.
levels.
Yeah,
Honestly.
Josh gets dropped.
That's exactly right.
No.
First hill.
Real
Nah,
talk.
stop.
I'm the old man of the group, so I don't mind coming in last. I watch these guys do what they do. It's a pleasure to watch. You know, these guys that while they're young and still able, and God bless to be able to ride and do what they do. Now, it's going to be one day when I'm getting shape, and everything I just said is I'm letting y'all know. But it's biking and cycling, man. It's real competitive. You know, I know what Fred does. I know what Marcus do, and these guys, if they're on the board, they going at each other. And I just go ahead, man. Y'all do what y'all do. Y'all just do what y'all do. But
Yeah,
So what happens if somebody gets left behind and catch the cramp or
it's called
something?
getting dropped.
Call getting dropped. But
Everybody got
like
dropped.
everybody get dropped at least once. But they get dropped, but we never leave them.
Right.
So they get dropped, and I would tell them, hey, we're gonna stop and wait for them at this certain spot, and they just catch up. But they're getting dropped, but they never get left.
Yeah, I mean a good group will have what's called a no drop policy,
Right.
which means you may get far away from a slower rider, someone who can't keep pace, but you're not going to get so far away that the guy's completely lost,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And you're going to have a good group like brother said before. Is you're looking at the route earlier, you're setting up maybe your checkpoints or your interval points where you're going to stop for maybe a little bit, take a quick break, and allow that person to catch up.
Wow. So how is it riding with other like ethnic groups, like white guys or Latinos? Is it a different vibe or what?
It's not a different vibe. Definitely, just when we ride as a group and they're passing by, going the opposite way, they actually looking and see what we're riding, see what we're wearing.
Checking out components.
So yeah, they want to see our components on our.
They want to see if we're official, really.
Yeah, they want to see, are we doing this for like a fad, or
Are we official?
Are we official? Like, do we really ride?
Do you feel any racism? Like
No.
when you meet up,
Not
or
yet. I haven't met.
they kind of look you up and down, like
No,
what are you
they
doing?
definitely
And
look,
like
look
this.
us up or down. Definitely.
I mean, cycling is traditional. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know, we fly, we young, we got expensive bikes. So
Right.
yeah, you know, it's gonna raise eyebrows when we out there as a group.
And it's a conversation piece. Like
is.
I ride with guys, and I stop in, and the white guy ride up with a nice $10,000 bike. He'll look at my bike, look at his bike, like just start chatting, like, "Hey, how'd you ride today?" You know. So I'm like, I get it. I definitely get it, but yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I know back in the day, most people thought that riding a bike was a white person sport.
Mostly,
I mean,
It
very
was.
much.
Every time you see somebody riding down the highway, it was somebody white riding a bicycle.
It was very much yeah, go ahead. No, as I was saying, it's very much a Caucasian-dominated hobby. Okay, definitely a Caucasian-dominated sport. And to your point, when you get around other riding groups and other people who are riding, if they kind of check out your gear and your kit, it's almost like a signal, like, okay, this person's official. They know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Where sometimes you may get the quick eye. I call it the look, and I think all black people know what I say when you get the look. Sometimes when you come into a bike shop that you've never been in before, and you've got a particularly expensive bike with a particular set of components, they're not used to probably seeing African Americans with a bike that expensive, with that kind of components. So the first thing they think is, I wonder if this bike is stolen.
But you can talk about it.
But once you start talking about it, you know what you want.
And what you want.
Exactly. You can identify, you know exactly what you're looking for. They kind of roll that away within about the first minute or two. Okay, this person knows what they're talking about. They're not, you know, they didn't get this bike from someone.
I experienced that.
They're just not used to seeing African Americans in this hobby at a certain level. They're used to seeing us again come in with moderately priced bikes that we got from, you know, Walmart. You know, I'm not going to name the names, but you already know. So when you come with something that doesn't fit their perception of what most African Americans ride, there's an immediate projection of what this person may be doing or not be doing. I'm like, yeah, he's not here for this bike. He's bringing a bike for somebody who's here just to look.
I mean, Fred and I just had a conversation yesterday. It was just like, you know, we're all into this sport, and it's just like we all sitting at home watching the tour. And it was like, man, it's like only one black representative in the whole tour, and it's like that's disheartening because we want to look to, you know, who's out there, who's actually competing.
Right.
So you know, it's just there's still a lot of stride that needs to happen in terms of diversity on that major level.
In cycling.
Yeah.
How do you? I was
going to say there was a great last month's issue of Bicycling magazine dealt with specifically African Americans in bicycling and racism in bicycling. And if you haven't had an opportunity to look at it, I recommend that you pick up. This would have been August, either early August or July's issue of Bicycling magazine. They interview about 14 different people, so it's, you know, broken up into 14 different separate smaller articles. They actually had Nelson Bales in there as well, and he had a piece in there too. So it just gives you some insight as to sort of the challenges that people of color and black people specifically face in bicycling.
So y'all got some fancy glasses on. Where y'all get them glasses at, Fred? I mean,
these Oakley.
Okay.
Oakleys,
the hats too. Where you get the hats? from?
So this about the hat. This is a black cycling group out in Philly.
Okay.
And this they kit, you know.
What's their name? You want to give them a shout out?
Kings rule together.
There you go.
Kings
he be
rule
knowing.
together.
Yeah,
He know together.
Yeah.
So now here's my thing, man. I'm not knocking the uniforms. I don't know if I wear them per se, but
let me cut you off. They're not uniforms. They're kits.
Or kits.
Okay.
Well, the kits, man. I'm not sure if I wear the kits.
Bibs and the jersey.
What? No, hey, we're not wearing it just because they're tight. It's aerodynamics, bro.
Right.
Like, if I go out right now, how I'm dressed on my bike, and I would not be able to do 15 miles per hour or 20 miles per hour on the steady. You know what I'm saying?
So it's more performance than
Oh, definitely.
performance.
Yeah, we're not wearing it. Trust me.
And it's comfort.
Yeah, comfort.
Most importantly, it's comfort.
That too.
It's the padding in the kits, the bibs.
And the bibs.
If you don't have that shit, your ass gonna be hurt. You gotta be on that.
I know, man. My shit be hurt when I'm riding my bike. I'm like, what the fuck?
We can ride 100 miles, right, and get off my I
And I
know
be
me
feeling
personally. I can ride 100 miles, get off my bike, and go do something else if I wanted to outside
I go
or
do
anywhere.
whatever I want.
And my ass don't be hurting.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody,
I don't know about the kids, man.
No,
I haven't got there yet, but
most men are not.
It's a game changer. Though.
Most men are not
changer.
dressing up in skin tight spandex
Right.
for fashion.
Right. They're not.
Right.
I'm out and about riding up the highway with some tights and my ass is showing
Deon.
in fucking DC.
Don't I mean?
But
Ain't nobody gonna bother you.
I don't care about
You
that.
consciously
Hey,
thinking about
exactly.
that, man. You need to be thinking about aerodynamics.
When I first
I
started,
get it.
when I first started out, right, 2010, I told myself I'm not wearing that tight shit at all, right? I rode with an old head. The guy was like, "Hey man, you want to ride with us? This is what you got to wear." Then I talked to my cousin who was an avid cyclist at the time. He was just like, "Hey, you wear that, you're gonna be good, bro." It's like nobody judging you how your body is. Like you're on a bike. They're looking at your bike more than they're looking at you. So nobody's judging you. And I had to think about it. Like, yeah. And I was riding through wind. That drag was killing me. I couldn't keep up, and I had a fast bike at the time. And yeah, I was like, I got to do it.
And if any dude is judging you,
Right.
Yeah.
I done had the hood dudes ask me where I get the kids from.
Exactly.
Hey,
Fly with it.
Let me just say something. The most important thing, though, is to get out and ride. Just don't worry about your kit so much at first. Obviously, you'll want to get into it when you figure out you can't keep up. But once you get on your track, you'll like, all right, I give up. But the most important part is don't let that intimidate you. Get out and ride. First, figure out, obviously, like you said before, figure out what kind of ride you're going to be doing.
Right.
Obviously, if you're just going to be kind of moving around the city and just, riding for just general fitness or whatever, that's cool. I can wear this, he can wear that,
Yeah,
we'll all be
definitely.
fine.
That's called bicycling. When you ride around the city,
Bicycling.
it's not cycling. That's why.
You're bicycling.
That's
Just wear this.
bicycling. Because
good
you're
to
stopping, you're going this side, that's bicycling.
bicycles.
But okay,
go. The guy that I see fully kitted out in his jersey and his bib and everything else, and he's just bicycling around like a city bike. I'm laughing. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's protocol.
so what about the shoes? What are those shoes called?
Cleats.
The
It's called
cleats.
cleats.
With those cycling
Cause-
shoes.
Cleats?
Yeah.
You got some cleats?
So,
Nah, not yet. I didn't
so
get them
the
yet.
thing about the cleats is
You might wanna
there's different
reconsider.
types of cleats. There's mountain, you can do mountain bike cleats or actually like speed cleats.
But so how do you stop with those things? Like I seen the bull had
So you pivot.
his foot like literally clamped to the little
That's
small
what it
pedal.
is.
Pivot.
You're clamped in. It doesn't matter if it's.
So how do you stop?
You pivot.
How do you stop?
You pivot.
Pivot
You
off.
pivot
You're
out.
gonna stop with your braking, and then you're gonna rotate. It's a rotational.
Pivot out.
You pivot.
called clipping
you
out.
pivot. Yeah, you
Okay.
clip out, but you pivot.
Damn, Reggie, what's that? What is that?
He has what kind you have?
This is a
Gyro.
Yeah,
So it's an
gyro.
Italian shoe.
Gyro Italian cycling shoe.
Yep.
These are generally what you're going to use for basically road bikes all the way down to what they call hybrids.
Yep.
And then once you get into mountain biking, you're going to use a slightly different kind of shoe.
Right. One hole.
One hole, exactly. And there's not a tremendous difference outside of the way this section here, which is called the cleat,
Okay.
is attached both to the shoe and how it clips into the pedal. So your cleat on most road cycling shoes are going to be outside the shoe. You have 3 prongs. They clip literally into the pedal and lock you in.
Right.
And the way you get out of the pedal is you twist your foot on the pedal and it rotates out. Somewhat a little bit different, not much different, but generally it's you clip in, what they call clipping in. You lock in and you're now attached physically to that pedal. If you need to get out, rotate the back of your ankle, pull over, and you're out the shoe. A mountain biking shoe, not much different. Your cleat, because mountain biking
This
generally-
seems complicated.
Yeah, I know it seems complicated.
This is some complicated shit
very
right
simple.
here.
It's very simple. It sounds complicated, but it's not. You do it about 10 times, you understand the mechanics behind
Like
it.
I saw the bull walking with those down at the march,
You look
and I was
old.
like, "Yo, what's up, with my man?"
He probably had mountain bike. Because
probably had
with
mountain
road bikes, it's hard to walk with that big.
He was walking like he had a Charlie horse, bro. I was like, "Yo,
You might have had.
The thing about these type of cleats is like, this will wear down, right?
Right.
So if you're walking around in a cycling cleat, you could wear that guard down, and that is actually replaceable. So
It's a
Guard.
replaceable part. It's made to be replaced.
And they do have guards
Show
for
that
that if you
guard
want to buy
when you
guards.
walk on this part.
But who want to cycle with 2 extra guards in your pocket? Every time you get off your bike, you got to put those on your cleat to walk. So
How
you
mu-
just
how much are those? How much are those?
Your cycling
Depending on
shoes,
the type of cleat.
it depends on your
varies.
cleat and your,
15 to $40, bro.
the cleat itself. Yeah, it's 15 to 40 bucks.
Not the shoe.
The shoe,
Oh.
depending on what. Okay.
The shoe, yeah. How much it cost?
Well, like
That's
this.
Louboutins. You're paying $1,000. You
Well-
paying from like
Nah, I ain't-
$50 for for $50 no, they got some
They
$1,000.
do have some
$1,000.
But unless you're riding in the Tour or
Yes.
whatever, you don't
They
need a
do.
$1,000
I've seen
shoe. A good cycling shoe, a decently constructed cycling shoe, is probably going to be about 150, 200. And then
I'd say
you go,
200.
and then you can go up, and then you can
Yeah.
go up from there. You get a good
Rapper
sales,
guys,
150.
yeah.
Get
Yeah,
the model,
city
get the
guy.
model that's going, get the model that's going out of
35.
style. It's not a problem.
that's
Just
good.
get it.
Right.
Great thing about
That's a-
cycling, yo. Like, so you lose a ton of weight, yo. You'd be amazed
Calories.
on
Yeah.
how many calories you burn if you're doing over 20 miles.
What's the most weight you lost?
You're slim.
Nah, just trying to play. I probably lost, since I've been cycling since March, I probably lost about 15 pounds.
That's dope.
I lost 25 pounds in 5 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. that was-
So what's the meal prep like? What do
I
you?
eat what I want.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
eat what you want.
I gotta eat a lot though. I got high metabolism.
What about smoking and drinking? Like you
Oh,
guys?
drink.
I
I got
smoke
that
cigarettes.
wine.
We socially,
Yeah, socially,
you
yeah.
know, we try to eat clean. You know, binge a little bit here and there, but
I think the more important thing is eating before you ride, knowing how to feel your
definitely.
body,
Yeah.
and knowing when
Hydrate.
to do when to do your hydration, and then your fueling, what they call fueling eating intervals when you're on the bike.
Yeah.
So that first drink you want to have it 5 minutes in because your body's adjusted to the heat, the temperature, all the changes that are happening. 20 minutes in, you want to have your first snack, and then from there you just kind of interval between drink
Feed
and
it.
eat and drink
Yeah.
and eat.
Feed your system.
Because what you don't want to do is something called bonking. So bonking is when you're riding and all of a sudden you just run out of energy. You're
Yeah,
done.
you don't want that at all.
You don't want that at all.
Right,
That's
no.
the worst feeling. You'll get nauseous, you'll get sick, you'll
And you'll get dropped.
feel overheated, and you
You're
will,
right.
and you
You're
will,
right, you will get
and you will get dropped, and you will know everybody else for the rest of the ride because you can't recover from that.
Real talk.
But you bonk hard.
Do it all the
it's
time.
like a car
Real
on
talk.
empty.
It's
Yeah.
like a car on empty. You're just
Yeah.
constantly on empty. You get put a gallon in and you're empty again.
Yep.
The thing people need to remember is that when you're riding, your leg muscle group is being activated the most. That is the muscle group that uses the most energy in your body. The first thing your leg muscles want is glycogen. And once that's exhausted, you're going to be in deep trouble.
Well, that's-
So, like with me, if I know I'm doing 80,
Yep.
actually 50 miles, the next day I'm hydrating.
Yep.
Hydrating,
Into the day
before.
because
Day before.
the day before, just because that 50 miles might turn into 100, for example.
Here we go.
Hey, me and Marcus, one day we just like, hey, we're gonna do 50 miles and that's it. We riding. I'm like, hey, yo, bro,
Let's keep going.
let's keep going. And he was like, let's go. 100 miles? Like, just 100 miles, let's go.
Wow.
And you want to keep hydrated. So that's why you prepare the night before or the day before your ride the next day. Especially if you have a long ride.
ride.
If you're doing like 10 to 15 miles,
Don't worry about
you're fine. You can do whatever.
Have
Yeah.
you ever had a cigar before you rode?
I have. And I drunk before I rode along. Example,
How was
my
that
first
ride?
century.
How was that ride?
My first century, 2012, 2013. No, I think it was like 2011. I went to park one night on a Friday. I'm supposed to ride a century that Saturday. Went to park. I got drunk and whatever. I was like, I'm in shape. Thought I was in shape, whatever. Got on the bike the next day. I was good starting off first 2 hours. After that, I was downhill for the next 7 hours, bro. It took me that long to recover and get back right. I was done. I had to take bears. I was like, whoa, never again. So now, when these guys here say, hey, we doing a century, water the day before.
Well, centuries aren't planned.
And what's the century again?
Nobody won't come.
100 miles.
100
Over
miles.
100
Okay.
miles.
Okay.
Over 100 miles.
They won't come. They ain't come when we said 80.
Oh wow.
He did 60.
Oh, wow.
Man, I gotta know your limits. I don't
Have
care.
you guys got any injuries before?
He cramped up doing the
I cramped
century.
up.
Yeah.
I cramped up, but that's normal.
Like mile 80.
Yeah. Coming back, though.
coming back.
Injuries mostly happen when you're doing longer rides, extended rides, or really a high pace, fast intervals. But most times, your common injury is going to be if you got knee pain or ankle pain. Get your geometry check, get your
Right.
fitment check, get your cleats checked.
Arms go numb.
Or you can
Yeah.
take that
If your arms don't go numb while you're riding, your bike, you're not fitted on your bike.
Yeah,
So
your
you-
arms
yeah, my-
never
It's
go
all
numb.
about the
Yeah,
fit,
my
man.
arm was going a little
Arms,
little
yeah, you
numb
gotta
when I was
get it
riding.
in.
And you're putting too much weight.
Too much weight.
You're leaning
Yep.
forward too much.
Ah,
You get a bike fit.
okay.
You
So
should
then-
never-
Bike fit, that's so important.
When you're riding, you should never put so much pressure on your arms while you're riding. That's
I was-
pressure. No pressure here. You want to have everything on your saddle and your legs, like all this back.
I was thinking about taking my bike
Biking
to
is all core. It's all core.
Yeah.
Core and
Right.
sit muscles.
Your handlebars are just stabilized.
Yeah.
I was thinking about taking my bike to this spot called Spokes in Virginia to get it
Spokes is
tightened
good.
up. That pretty good? Or
So,
what?
Yeah,
so check
that's
this
good.
out. I've been riding for 3 months. I just got a bike fit 2 weeks ago. Changed my life. I'm going so much faster. I did a 50-mile ride with my girl today. Felt amazing. I was like, man, I can knock another 50 out right now, because they'll get you right. You know,
Where'd you get your bike fixed at?
Actually, a lot of places shut down right now. I actually got mine at Conti's.
Conti's,
Yeah.
And where's that located?
In Arlington.
Yeah, Arlington.
Conti's in
Great
Arlington,
job.
Virginia.
Conti's, you owe us money. Conti,
Yeah.
you owe us money.
Hey, yo, y'all owe me money.
Yeah, you owe me money.
Not me.
Conti does a great job.
I
Becky
heard good
and Neil there.
Oh, you know Becky too?
Becky
Yeah.
and Neil at
Yes, sir. Yes,
Conti's
sir. Yes, sir.
does a great job at fitting you, yo.
Now, are there any black-owned bike shops?
There are.
There are.
Yeah.
There are.
Yeah.
Where
There are
are they
handful
located
around.
at? Where are they located
So
at?
there's at least in this region, there's Patapsco Cycle in Maple Lawn, Maryland, which is about 20 miles outside of DC, 30 miles outside of DC. I know they're definitely black owned. There's some smaller bike co-ops here in DC which are black owned.
Now, are the bikes too? They make their own bikes, or are they reseller, or they're just a reseller?
That's a tricky
Probably a
one.
retailer.
I don't
Probably
know
retail.
any. That's a good question. Also, I don't know any black manufacturer.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
There are.
and that's it. They are.
I don't think they are.
If
So
they-
hey, everybody put our money together.
Let's do it, man.
I was gonna say,
Let's
if
do
Definitely
it.
down with that.
If there are,
We need to get a black-owned bike.
I almost guarantee they're what's called a craft manufacturer, where they literally build custom frames for you, and they're probably welding the stuff out of steel or maybe even out of titanium or aluminum. But the African American ownership presence in bicycle thing from the manufacturing side is almost nil.
Yeah, is it what about we ride DC? Is that
They're bicyclists.
It's bicycles.
It's
It's
social.
two different. That's a
Exactly.
social ride.
Social.
Casual
Yeah.
ride, social ride.
Casual social
Nothing too
ride.
crazy. They're
Yeah.
not doing more than 10
15.
miles,
And
10, 15 miles. And
It's-
then they stop at different things, different
yeah?
spots.
That was
So-
the first time I rode.
And it's a dope group. Totally dope group. If you starting off, you don't have a bike, you just bought a bike,
Right.
definitely go check them out. But if you're trying to do something long term, probably won't be for you just because
I
of the.
can't come out the
They're
house
not
for that.
challenging you.
I'm not- I
Like,
can't
Yeah,
come out
yeah.
the
ride, they casually ride.
When I ride,
Casual
I want a workout.
So
I
it's-
want a
Exactly.
high intensity workout.
Exactly.
So that's what you ride with your girl with, right? We ride DC.
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
that.
It's an entry level ride.
Exactly.
Right? If you want to, you figure out some group etiquette, ride with some people, like-minded
Right.
interests. That's where you start.
They pedaling though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pedaling.
I ain't gonna lie.
Okay.
When I ride with
They
these
ain't dropping
guys,
people.
Yeah.
They dropping no that.
When I ride with these guys, I might don't say it, but I'm riding bro, you're not gonna pass me, bro. You're not gonna do this. So we gonna ride. You know what I'm saying? If you riding with me, you're riding because I'm not slowing down. I'm riding, bro. You know what I'm saying? Other day, me and him got out there. He was like, Fred, let's go. We got. I was like, yo. We just got out there 2 minutes and we going. I'm looked down. I was
said it to
going.
me, though.
I looked
That's
down.
what-
I'm
that's
going
what happened.
25, 28 miles per hour. I'm
happened.
like, yo, I gotta slow down because I don't want to
Yeah,
cramp
and-
up because
yeah,
we're going
cramp.
88 miles.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the
Fast
thing.
too early.
He asked me for smoke. I gave him smoke. Brian was beside me. I said, "That's what his ass get."
Hold on. We're gonna edit this out. But you didn't give me smoke. He was right beside us. Hey, he said, you didn't give me smoke.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
Hold on.
I wasn't there.
Let the mediator say
Let
what
me say what
happened.
happened.
What happened?
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
specifically asked the guys to take this route because it was a straight route, it was a flat route where we could ride 3 miles at a constant pedal, a constant cadence,
Yep.
right?
Oh, we gotta
So-
get on that cadence.
With cadence, you can jump out and do 20, 21, 25 miles an hour, but can you maintain 25 miles an hour for more than 3 miles or for 15 miles?
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Okay.
So what happened was, these two, I'm out.
He called me.
They like this,
He
yo.
called me out.
They called each other out, right?
No,
so
he
he jumped
called
on it
me out.
hard. He jumped on it hard.
This is what happened.
So when he went out hard, of course, your muscles are like, yo, what are you doing? That's too hard right now. So he backed off, and I just kept cruising.
We kept going.
And then he caught up to me, And I was like, where's Fred? And Fred was like,
you didn't give me that smoke though. He's back there. You didn't. I was on your back wheel.
Basically, yo, here's what's gonna happen. Here's what's gonna happen.
I was doing 28
Hold on, Fred.
Peloton left.
I put it on the board. I found a spot, but it just has to be a weekend where I can get all the guys to come together on this spot. The loop is a 10-mile loop.
Is it flat?
It's a flat loop.
Okay.
The grade the grade is no more than 4%.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Right?
Still up,
But it's a 10-mile loop, so you should be able to pedal at least 7 miles without stopping, without lights, without interruptions. And that's where we're going to see where we get better.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because when you ride a crit, you know a crit is. It's pedal. It's 25. It's 25. Now it's 30.
Right.
Now it's 25. Now it's 30.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's no, and you're only doing 25 on the curve.
Hey, Deon.
You've got
Specialists
specialists.
like a mile and a half.
It's not big.
It's not.
No, it's a mile and a half loop.
My
It's
definition
all out
of
there.
when I look at people's Strava and I see people what they did, like when I see you, let's say
It's just a long way.
let's say he did 100, let's say he did 120, 200 miles. That's not going to impress me. You know, his elevation will impress me, and how fast he's riding, his average speed. If he's doing 20 miles, 120 miles or 200 miles,
That's impressive.
that's impressive.
That's impressive.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's your average speed. It's not the distance. As far as riders, like
Right. It's
as
the
you ride,
cadence.
yeah, the
Keep going.
cadence and.
Keep going.
If you're new and you did 100 miles, I salute you and I give you props for you because you're new. But if you're a rider and a cyclist, an average cyclist, and you riding 100 miles, bro, that's 100 miles is easy. Because how fast you going, your average speed and your endurance up a mountain is.
So you guys measure each other based on your
we look at
speed and
everybody-
elevation.
everybody-
We look at we check everybody's stats.
Everybody's stat. You got specialists who put out megawatts,
Watts.
and megawatts is really your energy, how fast you can go for how long.
Right.
And they can hit top speeds of. I've seen somebody hit 42, 43 miles an hour. I'm like, you're putting out crazy.
Oh, I'm
watts
going
on the bike.
fucking. I'm fat. I'm 60 miles plus
on a flat.
per hour.
On a flat.
No, not the
On a-
same.
okay,
Like
on
on
the
a flat, I
same.
can do.
Yeah.
I can do up to. I can
What
probably
the
do
hell
40
is
on
in
the
this
flat.
bottle?
Yeah,
You doing 60 miles an hour?
60 years old. I'm like, I'm not doing
I'm riding.
Yo,
I'm riding.
I just cramped up right now.
I'm going down. I'm not moving.
No.
My fastest is
Josh,
65. My defense.
We the heavyweights. We do 60 going down here. He's a lightweight.
No.
We got
No,
inertia.
no.
You know what
Not
I'm
even a
saying?
mile descent.
I gotta go on it.
Okay,
I gotta go fast.
As long as you're on the
I
descent,
have to.
and you're
I did
moving.
the 60 miles. 60. I did 65. I have to on a.
You
on
really
a
made me
descent.
cramp up when you said that.
On the descent, I have to go on
fast.
Green Turtle,
Look,
and it was half a mile.
I got
I
it.
did 60 miles.
I gotta go
Exactly
fast.
to your point. You have people who are great at what's called descent. So that's
Yeah,
downhill, and they're risk takers. They can get into a tuck and do 60, 65, no problem. You other people who put out megawatts, they can pedal a bike on a flat surface for 43. I've seen 42. I've seen 43. One person said 45. I doubt it, but that's what they say. I know it's possible. Then you have people who are just great, what's called endurance riders, where they, to your point, can keep up a 20 mile an hour pace for 100 miles, and they'll drop everybody because nobody can keep up with that pace.
And that's
Then you have
impressive.
people who are great, what's called climbers. So that's uphill, anything with a grade. And for some reason, their bodies is built a little bit differently, where they can just keep up a 10 or 11 mile an hour pace up a hill for miles, and they'll leave everybody behind.
8% grade.
Yeah. I see people doing it to 8.
Yeah,
Even
I
8 you feel.
I was having some challenges with the gears, man. I was trying to figure out how
Well,
to.
that's, yeah.
Yeah, Garrett is a totally different beast, bro. It's,
Yeah.
it's totally
That's what
different.
understanding
Yeah.
the
So
bike.
who wants to explain the theory behind the gearing?
So you should use the bike to explain it, yo. I think.
Okay.
That's
It's
important. Beautiful bike.
You say you ride a mountain bike?
I got a mountain bike.
Right.
Can you see?
All right, the difference between a mountain bike and what he's about to show you is a mountain bike has a big front sprocket.
Okay.
All right. I'm sorry, reverse that. A small front to a big rear.
Okay.
Okay. So you crank more, but the back wheel rotates less. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So right now, see that big sprocket in the front?
Right.
The big ring?
Right.
So it's big to a small. So that small ring is going to be harder.
I see what you're saying.
All right. So if you go big to big, that's 1-to-1.
Right.
Your ratio. So it's same rotation, 1-to-1. As you click down, now you're doing like this. Then you click down, now you're doing like this.
So it makes it easier to go up a hill.
So the wheel is doing like this faster,
right?
But you're doing like this,
right?
You're doing less
you
work
follow me?
overall.
And the bigger this is right here, so you go 1, and you may go 5 to 1. You crank 1, but you went 5 times the distance.
Gotcha.
Anybody's ever?
It's
yeah. If you've ever driven a stick shift car before,
Right.
you know, you understand what gearing is. Where you're in first gear,
similar to
and you're hitting, you're doing 5,000, RPMs. The bike is going, but the car is going almost nowhere. But you can get up a hill fairly easily,
Right.
because you're spinning the engine fast,
Yep.
and that rear wheel is actually turning slow, so it gives you more what's called mechanical torque, more mechanical advantage. When you go big ring in front, which is your crank, little ring in back, okay, that's built for speed. So you're turning that big ring maybe a half a turn, and that rear ring in the back is already cycled 1 time. So you're moving that thing really fast, but you're not getting a lot of torque. You're getting a lot of speed, but you're not getting a lot of power out of it.
That's interesting.
Then that's when your legs come in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now you got to take that power in your legs to get that to turn.
That quad.
Mechanical advantage.
Thing is, you got to research too. Also, before you go out and just say, "Hey, I want to make this my lifestyle," right? Cool. I want a bike that I can grow to. Research the bike and the components.
Yep.
The components is the most important. Research that first before you get your bike, because a frame comes. You can get a frame anyway. It's the components that you want to research, because that determines where you live at. Let's say you live in Colorado. You don't want to go with a higher crank. You want to go with a lower crank, like 46, 43, in that range. Like say 43, 39, 43, something like that.
Yeah, you gotta break that down though, bro.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't understand it.
Oh, okay.
I understand it, but
break it down.
they might not understand.
Okay.
Yeah. So what he's talking about when he says the number is 43, 39, what he's talking about is the number of teeth on the front sprocket, on the front crank. Pardon me. So you have the big ring and then a small ring. So if you have a big ring with, let's say, 52, 53 up front, and then a smaller one with maybe 39, that's something that's more built for speed. If you have something with, let's say, a 48 and a 36, okay, that's built more for endurance, exactly, or maybe gravel riding.
Yeah.
And then you can get to what's called single speed, or excuse me, single ring front. Single ring front would be like a 38, and then you have no changes in the front, and you can only change your gears in the back, and that's generally, again, going to be your gravel riding, your mountain bikes, that sort of stuff. Because most of the time, mountain biking, you don't want to go fast on mountain bikes. You want to kind of climb around, coast, and everything else.
Yeah.
Just from a component, and again, talking about what kind of bike you want to start with and understanding the cycling that you want to do. For most people, if you haven't ridden in a while and you don't know what you want, I always say start with a hybrid. Start there and just figure out, hey, look, don't spend too much. Just say, is this really for me? This is not for me. Because most people don't want to go to something like this or something like this with drop bars. They have to ride like this or ride up on hoods. They don't want to deal with all that.
Yeah, but y'all's bikes look cool, man.
Yeah,
my shit looks whack.
They want to start with something where it's easy and it's accessible, and you don't have to understand a bunch of stuff. You just want to ride and understand what you're doing. Start with a hybrid.
So what's the deal when the bikes you have that white spoke or white rim in the front, and they got a regular spoke in the back? It's like a blade, a white blade in the front.
No,
the bikes that have the white blades in the front.
He's talking about the
bikes that got the white blade.
That's
the white.
I ain't never sit back in the front.
I saw a white blade in the front in a regular.
Yeah, most like if you
it's the other way around.
You doing track bikes, the blade, like the whole comb is in the back.
No, he's talking about the other way around.
He's talking about like a
single
TT
speed
type bike.
No, I know what you're talking about. Most likely, you're probably talking about a single speed bike, which is sort of it's a niche thing. It's for people who want to be cool and just ride something with fixed gears or fixed gear, what they call it fixie, where the bike literally has no gears. It's just you got a cog in the front, cog in the back. That's all you got. They'll run a mag in the front, which is the tri-spoke, I know what you're talking about. In the back, they'll run regular spokes like this, because regular spokes flex. So you can take impacts and absorb a little bit. They have a little more give. Mags are just stiff and fast. They'll crackle you before they give.
And another thing about like wheels and stuff, the more the arrow is more for flats. So basically, these two bikes are about a 50. I want to say a 50.
Got 50 millimeter.
50, yeah, millimeter, right? The higher you go, it's the more arrow you got. But with the wind, like you do a 60, 70 crosswind, it will blow. So you could be doing literally, if you got a good bike, good component, you could literally do 40 miles per hour if the wind is right, straight, with 40 miles per hour straight. But when you get a crosswind, it would throw you off the bike just because you have so much arrow.
It'll start pushing.
So when you watch the Tour de France, you'll see guys when they're going up hills, they got 30s or 20s. You don't want a mag wheel. You just want a regular wheel. But when you're doing straightaway, so that's why most aero bikes have the deeper carbon wheel for aero straight. You get more aerodynamics, go faster.
Yeah, you start getting into
Yeah,
another specialized
it's a
turn
whole
into a TT bike.
Your brother's dropping science on me, man.
Yeah,
'cause
man. It's a whole
I'm
thing.
clueless. I'm
spectrum
clueless
of
with the whole bike thing. I'm new to it.
So Deon,
Do you have a helmet?
Yeah, I got a helmet.
You gotta help.
So when you ride, you're a leisure rider, bicyclist.
Yeah.
So you want something. You want you got a mountain bike. You want something that you can cruise around.
Yeah, I go with my son. We ride, we ride bikes.
You don't want none of these bikes right here.
Yeah.
These bikes are for guys who we're doing no less than 30 miles per hour. I mean, 30 miles per hour and no less than 50 miles.
Yeah,
20 miles.
but the chicks like those,
These are
man.
race bikes.
The chicks like those bikes.
Chicks like what?
The chicks like those bikes, man.
That's why you got those bikes.
I'm trying to get my swag up with the bikes, bro.
I'm married, so I don't know.
The chicks like a Lamborghini. They like a Ferrari, but is a
chicks like
Lamborghini
the
and Ferrari
kicks, it ain't the
necessarily
bike.
functional for everyday life?
Yeah.
This is not a bike I want to ride every day. I got another bike for just riding every day. I
Oh,
take this
okay.
out when I want to do specifically one purpose.
Right.
That's it. It is a singular purpose machine. If I want a machine that could do just about everything, I got another bike for that.
Right.
It's got
get you,
relaxed
get
riding
you.
position. It's got fenders. It's got panniers on the back. That's a great bike. Love it just as much
Like
as
for
I
me,
love this one.
like for me, I got a road bike that when I want to get on it, I get on it. I got a bike I want to ride to have drinks. And I got a bike. Somebody hit me up and hey, just hit a hill. I got a mountain bike, and I got an old school bike. So if I want to just dress up like old
So-
1980, I got that too.
So what are y'all drinking when y'all ride? Is it more water, Gatorade?
Water.
Yeah.
I don't. I
BCCA.
I drink water.
Water. You just drink water straight?
I don't drink
Some
water.
with
I
some
drink
electrolytes too.
Electrolytes.
But I take the all red pill before.
Okay, you take some
Yeah,
before.
all red.
Or I
I'm
have
a-
some gel.
What's all
Yeah,
red
gel. As long as you're doing gels
Something
too.
special.
I'm a big proponent
I
of
drink water and creatine.
Yeah.
So
Don't
if
ride
y'all,
with just water alone. If you're riding on a longer ride, I don't recommend it. Always have something that has some sort of electrolyte in it,
yeah.
and maybe a little protein.
so if y'all doing like 100 miles, right?
Yeah.
What is going through your mind? Doing 100 miles.
Nothing.
Like, what are you thinking
have
about?
headphones.
Good music, yo.
Good music.
Yeah.
What do y'all listen to? What do y'all listen
Listen
to?
to Rick Ross, Jeezy.
I ain't gonna lie. I listen to reggae the whole ride.
Yeah.
The whole ride. Reggae and soca, it have me there the whole ride.
It's about what
What about everybody else? What y'all listen to when y'all
Throw
ride?
I
R&B
switch
on
it up.
before.
I
That's
switch
what
it
I-
I like variety.
Yeah,
hip hop, little jazz.
Who's the R&B guy in here? Who's listening
I like
to?
R&B.
R&B? Too
Hey,
slow.
I listen to
R&B. That's what we did. Yeah.
Any 90s hip hop? My man in the middle. Any 90s hip hop? What's up?
I do that too.
90s hip hop. Okay.
I need that up tempo.
I gotta do Wu-Tang.
Woo.
That's always
I gotta
good.
do
Wu-Tang's
Nas.
Who heard the new Nas joint? Who heard the new Nas
The
joint?
Nazi joint.
I'm off of that right now. It's crazy.
Fire.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's fire.
Yeah,
It's nice. It starts
But
off nice.
in all honesty, in
Those
one
skits.
ear they got whatever their music they're
Yeah.
listening to, but in the other ear they got that mindset of saying, "Man, you crazy."
Yeah.
Keep
I don't
going.
think about it. I
You
don't
got-
think about it.
But the
I don't
music.
think about it.
Come on, you guys can't tell me that.
I
You
don't
don't,
think
you
about
don't,
it.
you don't hear in your mind. You saying, keep
That
cranking.
burn feel good.
Oh,
man.
no, definitely.
No, crank.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah. I don't think about the
You
rhyme.
gotta
Yo,
say,
I'm thinking about it.
yeah.
I get to about 20, I'm like,
Yo, you know when you
what am I
get,
doing?
you know when you get to like mile 20, when you get to mile 20, your body is saying,
What are you
okay,
doing?
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Then you say, okay, you tell your body, keep pushing.
On my body.
Then
like,
you
nigga,
start
how many
feeling,
you
you
doing?
start feeling that acid build up. You know, you start feeling that acid build up.
'Cause I
Then you
don't
got to
really-
tell your body, let me get that water, shit, cut it out, because I'm going to do 40 more. You know what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
really feel
So-
it. I don't mentally. I don't even think about it, to be honest. I don't really, because I get stronger as the ride goes along.
Okay.
Me too.
And I even look at Strava and look at my segments and look at the elevation in particular routes and how fast I'm going and how many how many miles I go for that distance speed. I get stronger as the ride goes on.
Right. Goals
My
are
average
fitness
speed
level.
goes up.
And I
Goals
saved
are
my
fitness
second win. I know when I got my second win because I'm flying past everybody.
I know I don't feel shit.
I roll and he's like,
Until
"Oh, you must
after
have got your
60
second win," because I passed him going up a hill.
I don't feel nothing.
Yeah,
Man, I told you, I used to ain't come out the house unless it was 50 plus.
yeah.
I ain't
I'm
feel
the
shit.
same way. If it's not 50, I'm not riding.
I was a runner. So cycling for me is easy.
See, but there's
I was a distance runner.
Wait.
I ran half marathons twice a week.
Distance runner. See,
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
That endurance is easy.
Yeah, well, that's what the difference is. Because you already had that runner's high
Absolutely.
mind. You
Yeah,
had that runner's high mind.
And I swam. Aerobic activity is natural.
Exactly. Most people aren't coming into cycling.
If you're a runner,
from that discipline.
if you're a runner,
You can do well in cycling.
you can do well in cycling.
Right. But
So-
the only reason why I got back into cycling and I got away from other disciplines like mountain biking and BMX and road cycling was because I needed something that would get my fitness level back up. I hate running. I can't. If I'm playing sports, I do basketball, whatever. I'll run all day long. But just to run, to do endurance running, I can't do it. I just get bored. I'm bored after a mile. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm stupid.
For me, that's
You like
on your knees.
you like me. I like high intensity. Man,
High
I'd rather
intensity.
sprint.
Yeah. So
All the-
you know, my
all the lunges
on my
and
knees,
stuff.
I was like, I got to do something. And running is obviously the best thing you can, quote unquote, do for you. I was like, let me try road cycling for a while, and that's what brought me back into cycling. Really, at a more beyond just a hobbyist level. It's really like
They say you burn more calories
I was
running
burning
yes,
calories
sir.
again.
Crazy.
No, you burn
more calories running than riding a bicycle. That's what I heard.
Depends.
That's what I heard.
Get a city bike, rent that joint, yo.
Yeah, you
Like,
burn
listen,
more
listen.
cycling.
Listen,
burn
like
more
on an
cycling.
average bike ride, at the minimum, it's like 2,000 to 3,000 calories.
Right. Deon got a new bike coming up next week.
Yeah, I'm about to cop a new bike.
You got a new bike
Yeah,
coming
he
up?
got to get a bike.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
You getting a road
You didn't
bike?
tell me
Yeah.
about
No,
that?
no. He getting a city bike.
You getting a city bike?
Like,
You gonna clip
Oh,
in?
I got your cruiser. Yeah,
Nah,
city
no
cruiser.
clipped in. He getting my bike. My bike.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'm stepping my game up. Stepping my game up.
Because I was trying to get him out of that giant anyway.
Yeah. He got my. Yeah, he getting
The giant was the baby step, and I said, all right, you'll be ready for something.
I gotta get my likes up for the gram, man.
Hey.
Well, I guess the last thing is, what's the future for the group, man?
We getting out here, man. We gonna race.
Y'all gonna incorporate? Y'all gonna start a foundation?
We need
take it to
women
different
and men
cities.
to
We
join our
gonna
group.
we gonna do some. We gonna get creative. We gonna get our own gear soon, probably.
Right.
We gotta do something like that.
What you
Your
got?
own merch,
I think
okay.
with the gentleman that you see sitting right here, we're gonna get together. We're gonna brainstorm.
Definitely.
And because of COVID, once this COVID dies down, then we come around to the next season where everybody comes out and the weather's nice. We hope, God willing, to be able to say our name instead. You know what I'm saying. We'll have kits.
Right.
We'll have different levels of people that can come join. Like for example, like yourself.
Yes.
If you want to do mountain biking,
Right.
I like mountain biking. I can take you out to Great Falls. We can do single track trails, whatever. We can do local rides. You can do 50, 100s, and hopefully, we grow the group to just bring people in, and not just black people, just people.
People,
We
man.
got to get rid of these labels, man. Just bring people in, man. Just come on in.
I'm definitely with
Okay.
Cycling is a community. You believe once you get into it, you'll find the color lines tend to kind of melt away a bit. Although we're probably a minority in the fact that we are more geared towards cycling in the cycling community. The cycling community is surprisingly welcoming.
It is.
It's a networking thing, just like how you build on a golf course.
Right.
Bro, like you network with people that you would
Yeah.
like. It's crazy. The
No
network-
boundaries. No
Yeah,
boundaries.
definitely not.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on the Daily Detox podcast.
Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.